Welcome to the Bookers Alliance podcast, where we hold the pencil and the pencil is power. Coming at you right now is your host, Marky Mark, along with the man, the myth, the legend, Frank Donaldson. Join us as we discuss the ever-changing landscape of professional wrestling. So hang on tight, you jabronis, and enjoy the ride. Welcome in, everybody. Thank you for joining today's episode of the Bookers Alliance podcast. Come on into the house, bring yourself up a ringside seat, get your popcorn, your sodas, your whiskey, get everything you need, because today we're going over the top.
Oh, yeah. Well, first things first, get your snow shovels, get your ice picks, get your salt and grime to put down on the road, because it's cold up in here.
Yeah, so, you need to take your northern weather to go back up north, sir.
This damn winter. Well, I saw powder coming down yesterday. I see ice today. It's cold out here. So, damn, so we got to heat it up with this conversation today.
What's the old saying? It's colder than a witch's titty and a copper bra.
There you go. Yeah, it's cold.
It's
damn
cold.
Sure cold out here today. Not too cold for a glass of whiskey.
No, so that brings us to our sponsor. Our sponsor today is Blackened Bourbon from the band Metallica. So this is a celebrity-sponsored whiskey. It's kind of a gimmick, of course. You know, they play the music to their barrels as the barrels of whiskey sits in the rick house. Hey, you know, if it works, it works. It's some damn tasty stuff, though.
I'll be honest, when you first said black whiskey, I did not think you were going to follow up with Metallica, right? I was like, so where's this going? I was like, and what's he trying? I was like, is he trying to invite a new audience or alienate another audience? How's this going to twist out here? I mean, it is inauguration week, so I mean, my poor heart has been blackened all week. So I was like, we're in turmoil here, folks. But I was like, where are we going with this? So yeah, I was good to hear the backstory of it. Now I understand.
Some damn good whiskey. So I guess we cheers to another survival of.
Are we surviving?
Whatever it was that happened over this past week.
Did we survive?
Maybe it's yet to be seen.
I feel like maybe we wandered off into another alternate universe, like somewhere through. We went through the vortex or something, and now we're living a weird alternate universe. But
cheers to the alternate universe.
Well, we got to have some normalcy, and this is that.
Good whiskey.
Good. Well, whiskey's good in the other universe, so I mean, there's that.
Also, welcome back, Corey Graves.
Ah, nice.
Welcome back, Corey Graves.
Absolutely.
Where did you go?
Where did you go? The $1 million question.
Where did you go?
You notice he popped up after last week's episode, though. You know, after we mentioned his hiatus, and you notice he popped up real quick. I think maybe somebody heard the episode, thought. Maybe. Yeah, I think they heard ching ching after they heard our episode. They were like, wait a minute, there is a lot of money to be made here. Those guys really know what they're talking about. We can go give them credit for it, but we're going to take their shit.
Yeah, you don't got to you're welcome.
Absolutely.
You're welcome.
If a couple of tickets to WrestleMania wander their way into the mailbox, we ain't got no problem with that.
DM us, the Bookers Alliance.
Exactly. Yeah, we'll give you the address. Don't you worry.
All right, so we're talking
plane fare included.
Oh, yep.
Right, we first class.
Absolutely first class.
Yeah, hey, if we're going, we're going high.
If we're going, we popping bottles.
Yeah, we going high on the hog. We don't. We ain't going coach. Kidding? You joking?
No coach. All right, so we're talking over the top. Over the top. What is over the top? Well, there's
the arm wrestling movie. Yeah, Sylvester Stallone. Yeah. Remember, he was like a little guy. And he had like.
I even got my hat backwards.
Big Van Vader before he was Big Van Vader. Whoever that dude was, I thought he was gonna be a wrestler one day. But you see Sylvester, they were playing the '80s music and Sylvester Stallone.
We're showing our age here, ladies and
gentlemen. Yeah, we are, because I'm guaranteeing there's so many listeners out there. They're like Sylvester Stallone, the guy that's in charge. He's on the Department of Hollywood. The hell they talking about here? Yeah, so kids out there, he used to be an actor. He made movies. Check him out.
So yeah, over the top. So over the top, there's a little event getting ready to happen on February 1st called the Royal Rumble.
The Royal Rumble.
And as everybody knows, Rumble season is one of the best majestical seasons that there is, because you never know who's going to show up on your TV screen.
You never know who's going to show up. I mean, anything could happen at the Royal Rumble, but they're making a little pit stop on the way to the Rumble here this coming weekend.
That they are. And we're talking about Saturday night's main event, part deuce.
Absolutely. So my plan for Saturday night, first thing I'm going to do is crack open a Real American beer.
Oh, wait a minute. Boo.
A real American boo. So I won't be cracking
No,
one of
we
those
won't.
open.
We might find a Stone Cold IPA.
There you go. We'll look for one of those, or maybe even some Wheatleys.
Yeah.
So good, I drink it neatly. But anyway, maybe we'll go down that road. But we ain't gonna be. And fans, I know you're like, hold on, but you said back in episode 12103 that Hulk Hogan was. Yeah, I said that shit. I done rescinded all that. All that's in the wash now at this point.
So that usually happens that you grow old enough to see your heroes and idols fail.
Yeah.
That usually happens.
Yeah, and he did not disappoint on
No,
that.
did not.
As far as that
He hit
went.
every rung of the ladder on the way down.
He found a way to make you boo him. I mean, this is the guy that made most of us the fans that we are today. If it wasn't for him, the WWF never would have exploded. The WWE wouldn't be the global conglomerate that it is today, and yet we boo the hell out of him.
Yep.
Happily.
All right, so let's talk about Saturday Night Main Event. The main event that's happening Saturday night is Gunther versus Main Event Jey Uso.
Oh yeah.
Yeet.
I'm all for. There ain't no chance it's happening, right? Like zero chance it's gonna happen. But damn, there's nothing that more than I want to see than Jey Uso winning that title at this point.
So here's the thing. So the first Saturday Night Main Event they did last year, everybody was sitting back. Could this be the night that KO gets it? Right? Everybody was like, surely they're not going to do it.
Exactly.
Surely they're not.
We said that on this show. There's zero chance he's going to win this title, but damn, we want to see it.
God, it just buzzed and hummed, and everybody was like, is it going to happen?
It buzzed and hummed so much they created a new title for him to fake carry around for a couple of months just to get it over.
So now you got the Yeet Master himself, Jey Uso, looking like he could potentially get that title off of Gunther. But, dude, this is what they do. This is why they're so good. They're the masters of this. Obviously, there's no chance. And it doesn't make sense for Gunther to lose that belt.
We're skyrocketing into WrestleMania. There's no reason that you take the title off of Gunther on the way to the Rumble. I mean, you've got 3 more events that you could make that happen for if you're wanting to make it happen. But tell me Saturday night's you're going to have more eyes on watching on NBC than you're going to have on the Rumble. Than you're going to have on, what's that other thing? The Elimination Chamber. 8 combined. You're going to have more eyes watching on NBC than both of those. And if you near as many more as you're going to have at WrestleMania. So if you were going to pull the trigger, there ain't a better place to do it.
If you think Jey Uso isn't over enough to actually do that, go back to the Netflix entrance and watch him enter that arena with Travis Scott.
Yeah,
dude.
If you don't think he's that over right now, your ass ain't watching.
You ain't watching.
I mean, let's be honest.
Dude, he is so over. He is more over than anybody has been since Cody was getting pushed to finish his story.
This past Monday, he came out in the fans, and he just happened to stop. And, he did the little yeet thing with a little kid. I mean, and to watch the people around him, they marked out like great. They went, as Gorilla Monsoon would say, banana. They went crazy. See, I mean, the crowd, and I don't know if it's the music. I don't know if it's the energy. I don't know if it's the guy. I don't know if it's the WWE package. Whatever the hell it is, it's firing on all cylinders right now. And it seems like you don't miss this opportunity to cash in.
No, I mean, it would just make perfect sense in the world that's just the world where you're not trying to book an angle, book a story, but if you really wanted to send people home with a feel-good moment, put that belt on Jey.
So here's the problem with it, right? Of course, there's got to be a problem because neither one of us think it's going to happen. So here's the problem with it, right? Everything we're saying is what they did with the IC title.
Yep.
They did the whole thing. They even made it a short reign. They just did it to pop the crowd, introduce a little bit of color into the belt, all of that packaged into one. Now they're selling replica IC titles to whereas the previous IC title looked like trash. I mean, they figured out a formula, but are they going to do it with the World Heavyweight Championship heading into WrestleMania?
Now, LaGreca had an idea. I don't know if you've listened, but LaGreca from Bustin' Open had an idea.
Okay.
Now there's some stuff you have to ignore to go with it. But if you really wanted to put the belt on Jey, have Sammy win the Rumble and challenge Jey for the belt.
Ooh, I don't know about that.
That's what I'm saying. There's a lot that you got to ignore.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
But if you wanted to go Jey Uso versus Sami Zayn for the World Heavyweight title,
the stories there. I mean, everything there. They both have main event at WrestleMania before. Yeah. All of that's in the in the mix.
Yep.
But speaking of that, though, Sammy and KO had an interaction this week. And I'm watching the interaction go down and all that, and I'm remembering Sammy saying something about, he main evented WrestleMania, KO's main evented WrestleMania. I mean, Jay's main evented WrestleMania. None of these guys are names that you would think of when you're thinking the main event of WrestleMania, right? In today's landscape, that's pretty much Roman Reigns. I mean, and a return of John Cena. Those are the only names that are tightly associated with main event WrestleMania.
But that's what's happened when you gave WrestleMania 2 nights.
Yeah.
You gave more people an open opportunity to main event. Now, what I do think is cool, though, is what KO had to say to Sammy and how KO. So I hope you people are watching and paying attention to KO, because KO is very interesting.
Yeah.
The story that he is spinning is 2 stories. One he's telling and one he's not.
Yeah.
And if you're not paying attention to the story he's not telling, you're only getting 50% of the angle that he's
you're
putting
only
out
taking
there.
it for face value.
Right.
But like you said, you gotta look between the lines.
Yeah, so you heard him. So you heard him get all out there and get on Cody's case about, what did you do? You went and teamed with Roman.
Uh-huh.
After we all tried to help you out, and then when he got in front of Sammy, it was, I forgive you.
Yeah.
So wait, why is he forgiving him? Oh, wait, he's forgiving him. How do you think Sammy wound up as a partner with KO?
Yeah.
Sammy forgave KO.
Had to forgive him for all his indiscretion.
So that's the story that KO wouldn't tell. And now, dude, I'm hella perplexed by how I feel about all this stuff happening with KO, because I'm starting to realize KO's Two-Face.
That's his gimmick.
I always equate these guys to the Batman universe, but KO is Two-Face. He's talking out of both sides of his mouth,
big time.
And
he's a politician, even though he accuses Cody of being which Cody is a politician.
KO is just as much of a
exactly.
politician.
He's just in this polished. He's just in this clean cut and polished.
And I love the subtlety of what KO is doing with his attire. And if you haven't paid attention, go back to SmackDown. What did he wear on SmackDown? Instead of the son of a plumber t-shirt?
Uh-huh.
Oh, it was the son of security engineer?
Something like that, of his own thing.
Of his own thing. The Canadian dream. I mean, stuff like that. And then he comes out and talks to Sammy Monday night, and what's he wearing with the Winged Eagle belt? A Bret Hart jacket. Sammy's hero. I mean,
who he clearly associates with the Winged Eagle title.
Belt. Mm-hmm. It's just so amazing, some of the little intricacies. But let's get back to Saturday night's main event, though. Who we taking, Jay or Gunther? Realistically, who we taking?
Begrudgingly Gunther. I mean, I feel like there was plans already in the works, long drawn out, with that world heavyweight title and Gunther defending it at WrestleMania. And I feel like this Jey Uso thing is just another one of those things that gets in the way, throws a monkey wrench in the plans. But when it was Cody and Roman, that storyline had already been, elevated to such a level that it was damn near undeniable. You couldn't get away from it. I feel like they can find their way out of this mess that they've kind of found themselves. Good mess, don't get me wrong. When you have a talent that gets over it organically like Jey Uso, good mess to have. But I feel like they can organically get out of it without having to fumble the ball, so to speak.
All right, let's talk about one other match real quick that's happening on the card. I want to talk about Nia Jax versus Rhea Ripley.
We're talking about that because what Nia Jax has done over the last year, if there hadn't been a Rhea Ripley out there, Nia would be hands down the top woman in the division now. She's killing it.
Got to give Nia her flowers. Look, Nia Jax, when she first came on the scene, she had a personality nobody really liked. Her work style was atrocious. No secret. She was hurting people left and right in the ring.
Yeah, I mean, there was some lazy in there. There was
it wasn't
entitlement
good.
In there. There was a whole world of shit going on with Nia Jax that we didn't love, right?
But when she came back, all we asked was, be the freaking killer.
Exactly.
Be the killer. We know you can be this. We know it can be. And my God, has she delivered on that?
She found that Samoan warrior.
Oh my God.
She found that Samoan warrior in her. And I mean, she's embodying Yokozuna. Yep. She's embodying Umaga. Yep. She's embodying all those Samoan warriors that we looked at over the past. and said, damn, these are dominant, people in our she's found a way to embody all of them and incorporate it into one character, and it's great.
And how they're billing this match, everybody's like, well, there's no story. Why are they doing that? Why ain't Nia going after Tiffy? That will come in time.
Yeah.
You can't send the killer after the winner just after she won.
Right.
You got to let that build up a little
Plus,
bit.
it looks like Nia's on Raw now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they did the right thing. They got them separated, get them away from each other. You pay that off down the road. You've got neither one of them are in their, late 40s and on the verge of retirement. So, barring injury or pregnancy, they're both going to be around for a while. You got plenty of time to get to those stories. Let those stories simmer and brew. You don't have to cook it. You don't have to burn it in the microwave and serve it up.
Two other alphas that are going to face off. Braun Strowman, Jacob Fatu.
Oh, God.
Ooh, the monster among men against the werewolf.
That's going to be some hard-hitting shit right there.
That's going to be a fun match to watch.
Yeah. Them guys, neither one of them going to hold back. I think that's going to be a crazy match.
We got to talk about something real quick before we get off of Saturday Night Main Event. Anybody pay attention that they're counter-programming AEW?
So that's what the conversation has been for the rest of this year.
Yeah,
looks like we're getting at least 2 more Saturday Night's Main Events going on in the year. One is going to be on the exact same night as All In.
All In.
One's going to be on the exact same night as Double or Nothing. The 2 biggest AEW pay-per-views of all, and they're one's 6 months away, one's, 8 months away or something like that.
I'm going to put this thought in your head. Vince, let's squash him like a bug.
Yeah.
Hunter, let's challenge him, see if they step up to the challenge.
Oh, okay.
What if that's what this is? What if that is the camaraderie going, hey, you guys want to be competition? Step the F up. Be competition.
So that could be the thought. That could be the innate thought,
but it's not the result.
No. So let me put one thought in your mind right now. That night, I won't a bit more remember that AEW showing a damn thing on pay-per-view on either night. There's nothing they got on that roster that's making me think, man, when we get to June and August, I'll be ready. There ain't a damn thing they got building up over there right now that's telling me Saturday Night's Main Event ain't gonna bury it beneath the sea.
Yep. All right, so let's talk about over the top. Let's talk about the Royal Rumble.
All right.
So we have how many superstars now that have declared? Like 18 million? I mean, seems
something like that. I think half the male roster, the entire female roster, 3/4 TNA, let's see, a quarter pan, 7/8 of NXT.
Yep.
It's going to be like an 80-man rumble and an 80-women rumble on both sides. So, I mean, let's get to getting it.
All right, so let's talk about the best thing. One of the best things about the Royal Rumble is always you never know who's going to walk down that aisle when that number plays. It's the surprise entrance. So let's talk about who we would like to see as a surprise entrance for the men's and women's Rumble. No holds barred. Any organization is on the table to bring somebody in. Who would you bring in? Let's start with the men's.
Okay, so starting with the men's, I'm going to keep it realistic, but I do think it's going to happen, but I think it's going to be amazing when it happens. New TNA World Heavyweight Champion Joe Hendry. My God.
Absolutely.
When that music hits, can you picture the crowd around?
I believe in Joe Hendry.
There's zero chance it doesn't happen, right? With the recent announcement of WWE and TNA having a worker relationship, zero chance that ain't happening.
I just need him and Cena to stare each other down in the ring. That's all I need.
Well, there's absolutely no way they didn't just put the title on him over at TNA the same time this announcement was made, which is a month away from the. There's no way all this stuff's a coincidence, right? Yep. So this is going to be magic. This is going to be fun.
Yep. My surprise entrance that I would like to see for the men's Rumble, potentially Josh Alexander from TNA. I would like to see him kind of come in. There's rumors anyway that he could be WWE bound heading into NXT. Also, his former tag team partner of the North, Ethan Page, is in NXT. So I would like to see Josh Alexander potentially show up.
Okay, and so keeping it in company, I got one other one that 99. I'm not gonna say 100 like I did for Joe Hendry. 99% he's gonna show up though. Obafemi. My God.
Absolutely.
We can't put that dude over no more on this show than we already have, so I'm not going to spend a whole bunch of time getting into it. But if he ain't in the Rumble, y'all fumbled the bag.
Dream match. Gunther, Brock Lesnar, Obafemi.
Hey, let's throw Bobby Lashley right in.
Bobby Lashley.
Good God. Let's just throw him in there. Let's just turn off the lights and see who's alive at the end of the thing.
All right, Women's Royal Rumble. Who would you see as a surprise entrant?
Alexa Bliss.
Alexa Bliss.
No other comment needed. If she ain't coming back by the Rumble, she ain't never coming back. We're done. I am so excited to see her just because, I mean, it isn't even she's gorgeous, right? Definitely want to look at him. Everything good about the aesthetic of Alexa Bliss. No hands down on that. But just that cute little, pop-off energy that she has, she might even wander back into the Wyatt Six craziness type. All that stuff's a possibility. I just feel like there's so much potential with her character to go any which way you want. I want to see it.
My surprise entrant for the Women's Royal Rumble would be Nikki Bella.
Yeah, well, we did just see her. Pop up recently.
Netflix on Raw.
Yeah, although we up till recently we weren't a big Nikki Bella fans in WWE. I mean, they had kind of lost love with each other. Yep. She had to pick up being Nikki Garcia, but she's on the Peacock show, The Traitors.
Yep.
So I feel like that whole Peacock thing. Yeah, I feel like since she's gonna be on there, they announce her as, former WWE wrestler on the show and that. I feel like they were like, hey, Peacock said, hey, you give us a little rub here, maybe we'll give you a little rub down the road. I mean, nobody's going to turn that away. So I feel like, it just went that way and it just had to happen. So she's back in the fold again.
Never ceases to amaze me, Frank.
Sometimes you just slide one in there, you see what happens.
Again, never ceases to amaze me.
Do you want to keep going or do you want to transition?
Oh, I'm sure it can keep going.
I was going to say, so Blue Chew, sponsor of the week. It'll keep you going and going and going.
There's two other surprise entrances that I can see happening in the Women's Rumble. Charlotte Flair making her return. It's a given.
0% chance she don't pop up at the Royal Rumble.
And then the other one is Jordynne Grace.
I think she's almost handwritten to be in the WWE by that point.
She's all but done with TNA.
She's done. She gave her flowers.
She dropped her title. I really am curious to see what they do with Jordynne Grace.
I feel like she's going to end up in NXT. I mean, they've already started brokering that relationship. Right. I don't see a reason to.
She's going to wind up in NXT, but again, though, they've already brought a Jordynne Grace type character in Zarya into NXT.
Well, yeah, but they also got Lash Legend and Jade Cargill. So I mean, they ain't got no problems with having more than one of the same character.
And that's where some of this side topic. It's where some of those women need to start popping up to the main roster because that women's division in NXT is they're extensive.
Very true. I mean, they're saturated as all hell. The problem is though the name that you mentioned right before that, right? Charlotte Flair. When she comes back, nobody wants to go up to the main roster no more because now bottleneck again. There ain't no room at the top when Charlotte's hanging around.
Get fed to the queen at that point.
Exactly. So if I'm any of those names that you just said, go ahead and leave me at NXT. Yep. I ain't got to go nowhere. I'm damn sure I ain't going up there to go job to her all year when I could at least do something decent on NXT.
Oh, one more surprise entrant for the Women's Rumble.
Uh-oh.
Long shot surprise entrant.
Hopes and dreams.
Hopes and dreams.
Who you got?
AJ Lee.
No.
He said no.
Would love to see it. Crazy
Not
pop.
Gonna happen.
Never gonna happen.
Yeah, that's why I said long shot.
All
right, let's move on. So one of the cool things about the Rumble is how it's you get your surprise entrance, but then it finally comes down to this final four kind of in the ring. You get that magical stare down. You get some pretty cool pairings.
Yep.
That we've seen some things happen in those final four. Like that was the beginning of the whole Cody Gunther thing right there, right? We've seen a magical match happen within the match when it came down to the final two with Shawn and Taker.
Yeah.
That was a match after the match, basically. So some cool stuff can come out of this final four.
Or if you're CM Punk, you fool around and tear your triceps in the final four and ruin all chance of main event in WrestleMania.
So who do you see as your final four for this year's Rumble? Who do you see?
I'll give you two. I'll let you come back with two other ones if you got two different ones than I got. But I definitely got two that, again, 0% chance they're not in the Final Four, right? John Cena, Roman Reigns.
Okay.
You're not going to have them two in the Rumble. They both declared. So you're not going to have them in the Rumble and have them not be in the end of it,
So
right?
you said John Cena, Roman Reigns.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go with CM Punk,
Mm-hmm.
Seth Rollins.
Yep. That's pretty much what I see. Which insert John Cena and, export The Rock. It's the same main event that we were looking at, geared up for last year before we knew
So
it.
there is a problem, though, with this Final Four. Here is the problem.
One of them guys got to lose.
One of them guys got to lose.
Three of them guys got to lose. And hell, I don't know how three of them guys are losing.
If it's CM Punk that loses, who throws him over? It has to be Seth.
I don't know about that.
Well, let me give you this reason.
All right, flesh it out for me, because I got a different.
You've got Roman, who is one of the biggest faces in the company right now. Mm-hmm. Not a face, but is a face, right? I still hold truth to the fact that Roman is still a heel.
Okay.
So you got Roman with the crowd treating him as a face.
Okay.
He's not going to throw Punk over. Punk's still a face.
Okay.
They're not going to let Roman get booed.
Okay.
Cena's not throwing Punk over. If anything, when it comes to the equivalent of being a babyface in that company, CM Punk and John Cena are on equal ground.
Yep. Yeah.
So it ain't going to be Cena. Seth is the only one I could see throwing Punk over, with potential of Seth finally going heel again eventually, and to continue the Seth Punk feud.
So I think out of everybody you mentioned, Seth is probably the tweeniest of the tweeners in there. He's probably leaning closest to be a heel right now, but I don't think it'll be him. I think Punk will throw him out with no second thought.
So if Punk gets thrown out, who throws him out?
Roman Reigns.
You think
Only
they're gonna
because
go there.
So only because did you see the CM Punk interview with Jackie Redmond? Let's talk about Jackie Redmond for a second. Oh, okay, I digress. We don't have enough time.
Salute you.
But, But anyway, we don't have enough time. But did you see the interview they did in the crowd where CM Punk said he would throw Hogan's dusty ass over? Yeah. Now, 3 years ago, I'd have been like, "Hey, CM Punk, you shut that shit down right now. We're not going to disgrace the good damn name of Hulk Hogan
now he
on this
speaks
show."
the truth.
Yeah. Now, at this point, Hogan's done enough that I would throw him over the top rope. But he mentioned that, but that's not what I'm talking about. Not too long after that, CM Punk mentioned that he had a few favors to cash in again, right? He keeps going back to that favor. Who owes him the favor?
Roman.
And Paul Heyman, right? Mm-hmm. If Roman throws him out, if Roman wins the Rumble, wasn't it just a couple of weeks ago that I said that might be when CM Punk cashes in that favor and weasels his way into a main event spot, kind of just like Cody did last year, kind of like The Rock did, from what people say. Hey, if CM Punk is owed a favor and he can cash it in and Roman has to pay it back for whatever reason, because a heel wouldn't pay it back. A heel would say, get bent and
right.
I'm going to WrestleMania. I'm pointing at the sign. But, that isn't, like you said, that isn't the character Roman's playing right now. Roman's teasing that good guy thing. I think Roman has to pay that favor back at some time. So I feel like either he would be on verge of throwing him out and throw him out, or he would be on verge of throwing him out and saving him and then sacrificing himself to let Punk win the whole thing. So that's the way I'm writing it right now.
Let me spin it this way then.
Throw the eraser away from my book. My book is written. Close the door.
Let's spin it this way then. What if it does come down to Punk and Roman, and Punk all of a sudden just points to the back? When he points to the back, Heyman appears. Heyman shuffles himself on down to the ring.
So I got a problem with that before you go too.
Takes too long for him.
We ain't got enough time for all this shit. Yeah, we don't even have enough time on this show to try and get Paul down to the ring. And the Royal Rumble rings, the Royal Rumble entrance are long as hell.
But let's just say Paul has superhuman speed for one night.
So they drive him down.
They drive him.
Okay.
All right. But let's say he gets up on the ring apron. He motions for Roman to come close. He whispers in Roman's ear, and Roman puts himself over the top rope into the floor.
That I could see. I feel like that's storytelling because let's call a spade a spade. One way or another, Roman's going to be in the main event of one of them damn nights of WrestleMania. So he don't have to win the Rumble to get in. But I feel like Punk, after last year and that whole debacle, I feel like we don't want any missteps to happen. We want CM Punk to be guaranteed a spot in the main event of the Royal
Now,
of WrestleMania.
Having just booked that, if that happens,
oh, we're getting residuals out of that.
I would be pissed.
Every download that happens on Peacock, we should be getting a royalty out of that. Yeah,
I would be pissed as a fan because where's the intrigue? Where's the I mean, where's the he just about went over? Oh no, he's hanging on by, like, the intrigue is gone, but the story. Oh my God, the story of, like, dude, that was your favor? Like, for real?
Yeah. So I don't think it would be that cut and dry and not because it's not possible. I just don't think I don't think it's going to come down to Punk and Roman at all, right? I don't see enough fire behind the whole stare down thing and them two looking at the sign with each other. There ain't enough, but that one thing happened in Survivor Series, but other than that, nobody gives a damn about the two of them at all, right? But I see the three guys, like where Roman, Punk, and Seth are all in the ring together. I see more along the lines of where, let's say, Seth's getting ready to eliminate Punk, and Roman saves Punk, and then clotheslines him and Seth over the top rope, and they both go over, and then Punk's left alone in the ring, and then Roman just kind of, offers his hand up to him, not to shake it, but he just kind of tells him, there's your favor, we're done. Yeah. And then Roman walks off to the end, Punk does his whole celebration, and that deads that, because there's really no legs on Roman and CM Punk wrestling. I mean, nobody's really interested in it. So.
We got to get, before we start talking about the winner, who we think is going to win, we got to get to the women's, though. The women's Final Four.
Okay.
Who's going to be in the women's Final Four? Who do you see?
So if Charlotte makes it back, definitely her.
Charlotte would be there.
Which I don't know if I'm a fan of, right? But it's just the way of the world.
Yep.
I mean, we can't get away from it. But I'll be completely honest. I'm actually excited to see. I miss Charlotte at this point.
I think if she goes with the character that she's starting to spin on social media, if she starts splitting the whole, I'm Charlotte Flair, but I'm really Ashley bitch. If she goes into that mode and she's really like, it's me versus me. Yeah. I've not had any competition. Y'all need to step up. Like, if she goes into that mode, okay.
Then
because
like
then she becomes like the AJ Styles of the ladies' locker room.
Yeah. Well, then at that point, I feel like she's true to herself. So I'll take that. I don't need the queen. I don't need all this.
Right.
Just give me, hey, look, I'm the baddest motherfucker walking in this room, walking in the locker room every day. I know it. You know it. Prove me wrong. Yep. Give me that. I'll take that.
If she adopted that Taz mentality from ECW, holy hell.
That's all. I mean, hey, she's the biggest, she's the baddest, she's the best.
Yep.
Say that and walk away. Go out there, beat a bunch of people and walk. I'm good with that. But if she comes in and she's trying to do this whole cutesy thing and she's got to be like the queen, and I'm over that. But right, so she's definitely in there.
So you got Charlotte. Who else we got?
So in this moment right now, we know Nia Jax ain't winning. I don't know if we talked about, but we know she's not beating Rhea Ripley in Saturday Night's Main Event, right?
No, so she would be in the Final
Four. At this
Four.
Stage, I would see her in the Final Four.
Yeah. I think there's somebody else going to be in the Final Four that we ain't talked about, and we didn't talk about him in the surprise entrance. So it's a surprise entrance into the conversation right now.
Well, all right.
The man, Becky Lynch.
Ooh, I don't know if we're going to see her back in.
I don't know, but I could see her being in the Final Four.
If she's back, then she ain't going to come back and do a 5-minute cameo and get dumped at like 6 or something like that, right? And she ain't coming back for that. If she makes her way back, then she's definitely standing in that Final Four.
I could also see Bayley being in there.
Yeah, I can see that.
I can see that. Now, if they really want to do some cool booking, and they really want to put somebody in there that in that Final Four that would get some conversation started, Julia, your NXT champion.
That could definitely happen.
So, I mean, when it comes to your Final Four of the women's, there's a lot of possibility. But let's talk about transition into the winner of the women's.
Okay.
Who do we think is going to win the women's?
So, surprisingly enough, it's going to be somebody that we didn't talk about in the Final Four.
Who's that?
I feel like that's where you put over Jade Cargill. If she's done this work, if she's put the work in, if she's where they want her to be, what better stage for her to stand the tallest as the baddest woman in the company than to dump 29 other women with the names that we mentioned? I mean, we're dumping a Charlotte Flair, we're dumping a Bayley, we're dumping a Becky Lynch, We're dumping a Nia Jax. She's capable of dumping all of them over the top rope, right? Child's play. We've seen her carry Nia Jax around the ring. Child's play for her to dump these people, right? Could you imagine at the end of the Rumble where, with the little snowfall and then the light on her and her X-Men music playing and she's standing there doing her little pose and flexing the muscles and all that. Could you imagine the visual for that? Hey, hell, you could start selling WrestleMania tickets on that. That could actually main event a night one if she's ready. There's the answer that's eluding us right now. We don't know what she looks like in the ring now because we know she was pulled off the road, right? Be it for injury, be it for workouts, be it for whatever. We know she's been pulled off the road. We know she's been working out. My assumption is get better fast because WrestleMania's coming.
Yep.
I don't think they're going to bullshit with somebody like that in her first WrestleMania. I think if you're going to have her in her first WrestleMania, damn it, you go straight to the top and you headline it as the women's number one contender or as the women's world champion. I think that's the way they go. I think they put all their eggs in this basket over the last couple months. Time to crack them fuckers and make an omelet.
So I think the way you're going makes sense because you've got people already like Nia just getting a title shot on Saturday night's main event. You've got people like Bayley getting a title shot on SmackDown. So it's got to be somebody that hasn't been in the picture for a while or hasn't been in the picture yet. Right. And for me, who could be the surprise winner of the Rumble? Roxanne. I think she could potentially step up.
She's fresh out of NXT off of a long title run. So, I mean, she's got the credentials. Yep. So I just don't know if she isn't too small. I don't know if she's ready. Well, I'm just meaning I
think her and Tiffy could put on a hell of a match.
I definitely believe. I mean, we've seen it. We've seen it happen in NXT. I just don't know if she's of the stature to dump 29 other women, because that's the whole...
Should be a late entrant.
Yeah, that's the whole thing of the Royal Rumble, though, is, you're beating 29 other... I don't know if an NXT talent's going to beat 29 other women aesthetically. I don't know if that's the look WWE's going to go for. They, that would almost be like them putting over Rey Mysterio again in a Royal Rumble. It happened once, right? We saw it. I don't think we'll ever see anything like it again, so... Doing it on the women's side, I don't think we're ready for it just yet.
So before we talk about the winner of the men's Rumble, sidebar conversation real quick. You mentioned Rey Mysterio. I've got to mention Penta. The entrance that they are giving Penta, especially the one they gave him this past Monday night, straight fire.
He's superstar. He's
God Almighty.
If they aren't seeing a lot of dollar signs in him, then they are blind as hell. So
it is amazing.
There's a lot of conversation, mentioning Rey Mysterio about Rey's might be ready to tie it up here soon.
Yep.
They already got Rey's successor here. Penta. Now, I heard this on some other podcast, so I'm not going to take credit for it like I originally thought of this, but this is effing Rey Fenix like no other, right?
It is.
Because if he'd have came in with Penta and they did the whole tag team thing, they would have rose together. But I mean, hell, if you want the successor to Rey Mysterio, you don't need two successors to Rey Mysterio, right?
Let's spin
if you bring in Penta, you got one.
Let's spin it. What if it isn't going to F him all the way around? What if it comes into a Kane Undertaker storyline where Penta gets hella success and Rey comes in to screw him over?
So there's always that possibility. And that,
just putting it out there.
They got time, right? Because Tony Khan's definitely bought them time, which I feel like is going to shoot him in the foot again, the same way it did by letting Cody and CM Punk go back home.
Yep.
I feel like it's going to shoot. I feel like he should have let Rey Fenix go and hope they had fumbled the bag one way or the other because they had
a tag team at that point.
Yeah, they would have packaged them in a tag team and they wouldn't have been these superstars. But I mean, hell, like you said, Penta visually is main event level at this point.
Yep.
And nobody remembers that he was in AEW. WWE damn sure ain't going to mention it, even though they are mentioning that he's wrestled these people all over the world.
They mentioned Ring of Honor.
Yeah, they ain't mentioned in AEW by no means.
All right, let's talk about the men's winner real quick before we wrap up. Who we see winning for the men's?
I said it. I think it's Punk's year.
It's got to be Punk, right? It's got to be Punk.
It should have been last year, right? Yep. I mean... So the whole Cody thing, letting him win the Rumble, screwed up so much in the back end. I feel like, it made for great TV, great ratings. They got a hell of a good run out of the story. But then Cody's title reign wasn't, it wasn't stellar, right? It wasn't it damn sure ain't a Roman Reigns type title run. had they let CM Punk do it last year, had he not got injured, I feel like that would have been a great story for him. And then Cody would have had many more years to continue his story, blah, blah, blah. All in all, I feel like at this point now with Punk's age and all the other things, I feel like everything's going his way right now. He's wrestling a lot more. He's not getting injured. He's got the rust off his body. I feel like it's all in his wheelhouse right now to win. If you don't pull the trigger now, do you ever?
So I'm calling it right now for nostalgia feels. My final two it's coming down is Punk Cena.
I love it.
Punk Cena.
I could see it.
And Punk throwing Cena out.
Totally no good with the story that I created, but I could definitely see it again for nostalgia's sake.
Yep. And then, Cena goes on his world tour. We already know he's going to the Elimination Chamber. That's been, publicized.
Which means he already knows he's losing the Rumble. Right. He already knows he's losing the Rumble.
If anybody thinks he's winning the Rumble, I mean,
then he ain't listening.
Unless they're swerving us, hey, if you're going to swerve me good, just like you did with Tiffy.
Call it what we say. When's the last time a world champion went to the Elimination Chamber? Right?
Never.
Ain't no damn reason to go there if you're already geared up for a WrestleMania match. You're taking that pay-per-view off. Yep. So if Cena knows he's going to the chamber, he knows his ass ain't winning the Rumble. So thanks a lot for that spoiler, Cena.
All right, everybody. So with that, we are coming up on Rumble season. You've heard our thoughts. Let us hear your thoughts. Reach out on our social media platforms and drop us a line, because when it is Rumble season, there's only one road that we're getting ready to turn on.
Oh, yeah. We're ready.
We're ready. That's the road to WrestleMania. So it's exciting. We'll see what happens. And hell, we talked about all this, and never once did we mention The Rock.
Nope.
Where does he figure into all of this?
We shall see.
Nobody knows. But with that, we thank you for listening to today's episode, and we bid you adieu.
3, 2, 1. Did we not talk?
Today's podcast was produced by SBP. You can find our podcast on all major podcast platforms. Also, connect with us on our social media accounts. Search for The Bookers Alliance on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and X.